Hi, Tzeli. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. So you are the filmmaker behind Sappho Singing.
Yes,
It's
yes.
great to have you with us. So you're in Greece, aren't you? That's where you're based.
Actually, I am in the birthplace of Sappho in Eresos.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what a coincidence. So before I ask you about you and your work, actually, for those who don't know Sappho, can you tell us a bit about who she was?
Yeah, Sappho was born in the 6th century BC, right where I am now in Eresos, one of the city-states of ancient Lesbos. And she was, and still is for me, the most incredible poet that existed in this world. So Sappho is the woman who who invented the lyric poetry. She is the first person in the world that she wrote lyric poetry, and except that, she is the first person in the world that she spoke about personal feelings. What makes Sappho so special is that for the first time they started speaking about emotions, about feelings, about the relationships. And until her time, until her, they were speaking about the war, about the heroes, about the gods, and they were celebrating the war. And she is the first person who says that the most beautiful thing in the world is this for which one feels love. So she introduces us in the feelings, in the emotions, in the sentiments, in expressing and being something different than it was to be until that time. I mean, and she's a woman. She's a woman. Just imagine that she lived 2,600 years ago, and she was a woman who had the courage to express her opinion, to say what she was feeling out loud in the world.
A true feminist.
It's even more than feminist. I don't know. She was the first one. Yeah. There were more after her, but she's the one who really dares to express herself, her feelings.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. I didn't know all that myself, actually. So yeah, I'm glad I asked because I've learned some things as well.
This is the reason why homosexual women are called lesbians, because Sappho was born in Lesbos, and before they were called, we were called the Sappho sisters, Sapphics, and all this. So always the female homosexuality was connected with Sappho because of her poets, because of what she wrote. Yeah.
So, what a great legacy for us.
Yes, yes, and me, I feel it really. It's a blessing and something. It's something that inspires me, but also it's something that I'm feeling it heavy on my shoulders. How can, if you come from the same place with Sappho, and I'm feeling very much connected with her. So in a way, except of being inspired, I feel also the obligation to speak about Sappho and to spread the word about her, because her poetry, if not anything else, and her personality, they were incredible. I don't know who is like still in our days who can write the poetry that she wrote.
Yeah. So is that why you decided to make a film about her? Because you felt a connection with her?
Well, since I was 15 years old and I first read her poems, I was feeling very much connected with her. And it's the way that she describes the emotions and the way that she describes the world around her, because nature prevails in her, and the light prevails in her poems, and also, of course, the feelings. She wrote amazing poems about the jealousy. She described how it is to feel jealous in an amazing way. So yeah, I always wanted to do something about Sappho. Of course, I read as many things as I could about her, and then I published a book. One of my books, it's called The Girl's Guide to Lesbos, and it's a book dedicated to the lesbians that they come every year in Eresos, like a pilgrimage for Sappho. And there I'm referring a lot about Sappho and what we know about her, because we don't know many things. And from her poems, there are only some fragments left, so there is not much to. It's mostly our imagination that can create the image of Sappho, and this is very important. I say it because yeah, here is some. Okay, I say it because this was the reason also why I decided to make this film about Sappho, when Jill Gardner proposed that I could make a film of Maureen Duffy's play, theatrical play. I said, okay, this is the time that I will start doing something about Sappho. So yeah, they offered me to adapt for a film the theatrical play of Maureen Duffy called Sappho Singing. And with that, they proposed Alison Child, the performer, as a Sappho. So I got a whole package, the words and the actress, and I had to adapt it in the image that most people have about Sappho. And this is how it started.
Brilliant. And how long did it? Yeah, how long did it take then from the first idea for the film to the completion? Was it quite a long process?
Not really, because I had to finish it in a year time. So I didn't have much time to work on that. What we did with Alison Child and Rosie Walkley was that we made a script out of Maureen Duffy's text, theatrical play, so it could be more concentrated on Sappho. And then I had this, you know, I didn't know how to do it in the beginning, because of course, how do you dare to speak about Sappho? She's a myth. How do you dare to present her on screen? And I said, okay, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna present her as a modern woman. I'm gonna present her as how would she behave if she was living now in Eresus? What would she do if she would see all these lesbians that they come every year as a pilgrimage for her? I said, okay, she would be between them. So this is how I made the film. The text of Maureen Duffy it's divided in two parts. One part is Sappho in the Elysium Fields, and one part is in Parnassus. So the Elysium Fields, for me, where she doesn't feel very comfortable, she doesn't like it, is the village of Eresos, where it's a more traditional village and all this. And then Parnassus, where she feels okay with all the poets that are around. It's the Scala Eresos, where all the lesbians are. So yeah, this is how I did this film. And I had to finish it in 1 year, so I had to speed. I had no time to think more, or it was something that it hit me. And then I shot it in Eresos, where she was born. So the main actor, let's say, of my film is the nature, is the light, is the nature that she lived in.
Yeah. It sounds like it was a pretty fun project to work on.
Yes, because I didn't, in the beginning I was very scared, you know, because of the legacy of Sappho. But then I said, let's have fun. And this is the important. If you don't have fun, then you are left with nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fun is very important. Yeah, and it was really nice. And they're all, you will see in the film, the women that they come and they swim to the rock every day. You will see the lesbian community of Eresos. So yeah, it's Sappho in her birthplace, but in 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely made me want to go actually, because obviously being surrounded by lesbians, it sounds like paradise. No
It's a good idea to come
way.
here. Yes, it's the lesbian paradise.
Yeah,
Yes, I can reassure you about it.
brilliant. I'm there. So,
Yeah.
and so did you have any challenges making the films? Anything that you encountered that was tough, or was it pretty straightforward?
Well, the most difficult thing is it was like how to adapt it, how to speak about Sappho.
Mm.
But then the solution came out from the place itself, because I said, okay, we know nothing about Sappho, and the text is the text of Maureen Duffy, so she believes that Sappho was like that. And everybody has a projection about Sappho. I mean, every person believes that Sappho was something different, and as we don't know anything about her, everything can be true. So I said, okay, I'm gonna present here my own opinion about Sappho. And that was the biggest challenge. And also, they most of the people would wait a film, you know, with a Greek actress or a Mediterranean looking actress, and maybe that it would look it would remind us of how ancient Greece was and all this. I had to deal with that and to decide that I'm not gonna use it, that I don't want a film that it will pretend to be filmed in the ancient times, and I don't want to reproduce what they imagine about the life of Sappho. That was my biggest challenge.
Mm.
And as I had already in the cast a British performer, so I had to adapt everything according to what I had. I had the text and an actress, and I was living in Ereso. So from all this, it came out Sappho Singing, with a lot of scenes from nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really beautiful shots. I love the underwater shots. Really
Yes,
nice.
that's also very touching for me. Yeah, I tried to imagine, that was the challenge. I tried to imagine a little how Sappho might, maybe how she would like this film to be, you know. Of course, she would like all these women in the water, and I know from her poems how she speaks about the light and about the moon and about the nature and the stars. So I said, okay, I'm gonna put as much as I can from what inspired her.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah, it's a
it's
lovely
that,
interpretation.
so yeah, that's a combination with the words of Maureen Duffy, Alison Child, who's performing Sappho, and the birthplace of Sappho.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's lovely, very engaging. So can you tell us a bit about you as a filmmaker, what you've done so far? And also, I'm quite intrigued by the painting behind you. Can you tell us a bit
Yeah,
about that?
that's that's me when I was 20 years old,
Is
painted
it? Wow.
by a famous painter and my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So yeah, it's like I look like that when I first understood that I want to make films, and it was when I was in Italy with a scholarship, and I met Michelangelo Antonioni. He was the critic for our films. It was the first time in my life that I had a camera, a video camera in my hands, and I did my first short film. And he was the one who then talked to us about. He spoke about how it is to make films and what we should be, what we should look for.
Mm.
And I had also a personal discussion with him about my short film. And after that, I said, okay, I know what I want to do. But then it took me many years until I really started making films. I was a photographer and a writer. It was very difficult at my time to become a filmmaker. It was very expensive, and also not there were not many women that they could do it. So I couldn't afford it. And I became a photographer. I had many exhibitions in Beijing, in Paris, in Istanbul, in Athens, of course. And I published 10 books, including the Girl's Guide to Lesbos. And I was writing, so I knew that I wanted to tell stories using words and visual. And when I managed to get a camera, then I came back to my love, my real love, that it's the cinema. And until now, I made 4 films, half an hour, 50 minutes each, all inspired by Lesbos and I'm really inspired, except of Sappho. I'm inspired by ordinary people, by the life of ordinary people, because the story is made by winners or by big tragedies. And I didn't want to speak about it. So I made films like In Search of Orpheus and The Silent Path and Sappho's Granddaughters, that they speak about ordinary people, that they don't write headlines they don't make headlines in the newspapers. And Sappho Singing is my 6th short film.
Right.
Yeah.
And so where can people find out more about your work? Do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website. It's a very Greek name. It's called Odoiporikon. If you just put, I insisted on having this name because it was meaningful for me. It has a big meaning for me.
What does it mean?
It means Odiporos is the person who walks alone, trying to find his own way. So this is the meaning of my page. Odiporikon is this walk, this walk that the person takes alone. It goes the way of traveling, but also of discovering oneself. But anyway, if you put my name on, if you Google my name, Tzeli, it will come out about my books and about my exhibitions and about my films. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And what we'll do as well, we'll add your website address on the description of the video as well, so people can click on it as well.
Okay.
And so what's next then for you? What are you working on at the moment?
Well, I'm working, it's years now that I'm working, this is a really big project. It's what happened in Eresos since the 1980s, that the first lesbians started coming. Eresos is like the microcosmos of, it's a microcosmos. It's what is happening in the world is happening in Eresos, but in a very small community. So when the first lesbians came here, the society was not, didn't want to accept them, but in 40 years now, things have changed. And so I'm following this change, trying to understand what really happened in these years, if we are accepted or just tolerated as lesbians, how the lesbians feel, and if they have the need of having a place like Eresos that most of them consider as home. So this is going to be my feature film. It's going to be 1 hour and a half, and with lots of interviews of women that they are coming here for 40 years, and of the locals. And this is for me, it's very important because it shows also how things changed or didn't change. What did change? Did it really change, or what is the place that the lesbians have in the Greek society now? How do we feel, and how the people feel about us? And I take Eresos because they had the chance to meet the lesbians, and they had the chance to interact with us. If you go in other places, in other villages, being a lesbian is something not acceptable, or being gay, it's something that they would laugh at. But in Eresos, things are not like that. We are more tolerated and accepted. So this is what I will try to present in my next film, and also to put the question, do the lesbians really need to have a space or not? Because lately there are not many lesbian spaces around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're closing left, right, and center. Absolutely. That was going to be my next question, actually. What is it like to be queer where you are? So, and in Greece, generally speaking, you've
It's
partly
not
answered
that
it already.
bad.
Okay.
It's not that bad, but lately they started changing. I mean, we thought that we would have had many more freedoms, and that we would be more accepted in the society. But now the right wing, not the government, but the right wing, and in the people, there is something conservative born again. I don't know how to express it, but
no, that makes sense.
before
Yeah.
we were much more free, but now they start becoming more conservative, and this is something that worries me. So we need to be alert, aware, and not to stop fighting for our rights and for our place in the world. Because if we don't do it, it's very easy that the others, not only they won't do anything, but they will just things will go back in the way that they were before.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that's happening again. Yeah, it's throughout the world, really. So as you said, we need to we need to keep fighting. Absolutely, we can't be complacent. Yeah. And so my last question would be, what advice would you give to new filmmakers out there?
In a way, I'm a new filmmaker because I started very, very late, but I'm not new in the art field. Because as a photographer, I went through lots of disappointments, lots of fights. I had one thing, it depends on why someone wants to be a filmmaker. I know why I became a filmmaker, and if they are like me, the only thing I can say, keep insisting. It's not that you will hear many times no, you will be rejected 1,000 times. They will come and they will tell you that your film is not good, or the way that you are doing things is not good. You won't find money. You will have lots of issues. But if you really love it, the satisfaction that you will get from doing the film, from doing what you love, is so big that then you forget all the rest.
Yeah.
So just insist. If you really love it, if you want to be a filmmaker because you want to be famous, or because I don't know what, I don't know, I have no advice. But if you really love what you want to do and you want to tell your story, so keep on trying. And at some point, you will find the recognition, even if this will come from some people, from a little group of people. But it's important to communicate our truth through our films. So keep on going.
That's such good advice, because it's true. We all go through rejection, and we have to accept and embrace it, because it is going to happen, and it does happen all the time. So
yes, it is happening. And it's not that all of people will understand your work. Some people will understand and will like what we do. Some others they won't. But it's important that we know what we want and how we want to present it. And if we know what we want, and we give our heart in that, and our mind, and we insist, then at the end we will be satisfied. And this is very, very important.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you so much. That's lovely advice. It all makes complete sense. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Tzeli. It's been lovely talking to you this morning. And yeah, best of luck with everything. We look forward to watching your feature. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much. I hope that I will finish it in 2 years from now, if I manage to find the money.
Awesome. Well, yeah, good luck finding the funding, and I'll ask you again in 2 years.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.